Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's webinar from the Center for College and Workforce Transition at UW-Madison. My name is Chen. I'm a researcher at CCWT. Today, we're honored and so excited to have our guest, Carell Ocampo from Australian National University. We're going to talk about her research on career adaptability, which is a critical topic, especially in today's unpredictable labor market and ever-changing work environment. So if you haven't joined this before, this webinar series is something we have been doing instead of the internship symposium. Because of the pandemic, we're not able to hold the symposium in person in October. So we're doing this kind of informal chat with researchers and scholars around the world about their research related to internships. It has been a great opportunity to bring researchers' cutting-edge thinking and research findings to broader audience, especially for we people from different disciplines to get together to learn from each other. I think we have people in education field as researchers and practitioners, sociologists, psychologists, HR, management, and so it's a quite mixed. It will be interesting to see the questions from you guys. And today we have Carell Ocampo. I'll just read a brief bio of her. A PhD candidate in organizational behavior in the Research School of Management at the Australian National University. At a broad level, Carell studies how personality traits, emotional abilities, and a social context support or stifle individual goal pursuit effort in the context of the work and careers. And today we'll be talking about Carell's most recent paper, came out in March 2020 this year. It's still fresh. So The title is The Role of Internship Participation and Conscientiousness in Developing Career Adaptability, which is a 5-wave growth mixture model analysis. Before we get started, I just want to say that we are recording this webinar, which will be posted on our CCWT website in a few days from now. So if you're interested, you could go to the website to find our past webinars and future scheduled webinars. So if you're interested, please go there and explore. And as we're chatting, if you have any questions and comments, please use the chat box under the screen to post any questions or comments you may have. And I will take a look, try to follow along all the questions and post those questions to Carell. Also, if you could type where you're from in the chat box, that would be great. It's always good to know who are with us today. All right, so without further ado, welcome to join us today, Carell.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. I would have loved to see you all in person in Wisconsin and Madison, but for now this will do, and I'm very happy to be part of this webinar series.
Yeah. And would you like to introduce yourself more? You might do a better job than me.
I think you've done well. Yeah. So as what you said, I'm a PhD candidate in management here in Australia. So my research looks at personality characteristics, for example, career adaptability, perfectionism, and emotional abilities like our capacity to adequately express or suppress our emotions, and the role of social context, which looks at our socioeconomic status, for instance, all blend together to explain career development and our success in our goal achievement efforts. And yeah, so I look at how all these factors shape leader emergence, who becomes a leader, who becomes, a supervisor or a successful person in the field, and how that will impact performance of that individual, as well as the people who work with him or her, and also upward social mobility. How do we move to one social rank to the next? Yeah, so that's a focus. That has been a focus of my research. And this particular paper that we're going to be discussing kind of looks at, how we navigate challenges and opportunities and even unpredictable changes in our career development.
Yeah. That's great. So let's talk about your research. Why did you get interested in studying the relationship between the internship participation and the career adaptability?
Yeah.
And I think it might be helpful for you to introduce career adaptability a little bit, just to give more background information to this group.
Yeah. So thank you. Well, interestingly, this is the first paper that I worked on when I started my PhD. So I worked on this in 2017, and a lot of things have happened along the way. It was all just published in March, but like part of my research program investigates career development. So I study work experiences, work opportunities, and the relationship between careers and other aspects of life, if I may say that. So for example, I study how careers facilitate and constrain family functioning, and how our family experiences shape our career choices. So what we experience at home or what we see our parents do or our grandparents do, and how that will impact our careers later on. And within this umbrella, I look at how people's life cycle interactions with work, or by that I mean how people navigate demands and opportunities that are salient at various stages of their career or life. So given this overarching research program on career adaptability, I look at how internship serves as a learning experience to enable students or individuals develop or build career adaptability. But what is career adaptability? It's our ability or our readiness to cope with unpredictable and predictable demands and events within our working environment. So what's happening at work, for example, how do we navigate that? And what sort of resources do we have within ourselves and within the environment can allow us to address the issues we face in our work. So career adaptability consists of 4 resources or dimensions, if I may call it. So we call it the 4 C's in careers research. First is career concern. So this involves our capacity for career planning. Like, for example, individuals, I'm sure when we're growing up, we ask ourselves, what do I want to do with my life? And given what I want to do in my life, what steps should I take to achieve that? And so that's the first C, career concern. The second C is career control. So it's our ability or our competence to implement career relevant decisions. For example, we ask ourselves, what am I willing to do for our careers? What decisions do I have to make for my career? Like, for example, is my career choice really my actual choice, or is it somebody else's choices? And the third C is called career curiosity. So this involves our willingness to understand the fit between our skills, our interests, and the work environment. So for example, we ask ourselves, like, given the career that I want and the skills involved in that particular career, do I have what it takes? Do I have the appropriate training? Do I have the appropriate interest or skill to persist or even excel in that career? And lastly, we have the fourth C, which is confidence. So this involves our ability to execute actions to attain our career goals. Like, for example, how it involves our belief in our ability to excel in achieving our goals. Like, how much do we believe in ourselves when we are in the process of achieving our goals? Yeah, so all these forces, we say, would allow us to kind of cope with the demands and the challenges imposed within the work environment.
Yeah, thank you so much. And also, I just want to follow up a question of why you think career adaptability is an important thing for young people to have. Especially, we see a lot of evidence in the literature talking about the relationship between having career adaptability and student outcomes.
Yeah, and I think I'd like to extend that question. But it's not just important for students and for young people in school to work transition context. Like, what we've done in this research area is that career adaptability is very important, and it extends up until late adulthood and middle adulthood during the mid-career stage of our lives. It's important because as we progress in the career timeline, we encounter a lot of challenges, both unexpected, expected, anticipated, we anticipate these challenges. And to address these challenges and issues, we have to like rely on ourselves and the different competencies and the skills that we have built along the way to cope with these challenges and to thrive in the working environment. So we need this not only to succeed, but to apply ourselves fully in the work environment.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like for your this specific study, you focus on students in the transition from college to work, right?
Yeah.
Could you talk more about your research context, the sample, and the method?
Yeah. So, well, the main question that we're trying to address in this paper is how internship plays a role or plays a part in developing career adaptability. I'm sure when we were younger, we think of internship as just a checklist that, okay, I have to do this in order for me to graduate. But I'd like to think there's more to the internship experience than that. This is a chance for us, or for young people, to kind of see what the work environment is like, especially for those people who never really worked during the time that they were studying. So we want to see whether concern, control, curiosity, or confidence would change or would increase as we participate in these internship programs. And we also asked, when we were developing this research, we also asked, what's the role of personality in the development of career adaptability? Because we think that individuals with certain personality traits are more likely to optimize the benefits that are available within the internship experience. So we think that individuals who are conscientious, those who are planful, dutiful, for example, are more likely to benefit from the opportunities and the experiences within in the internship program. So to address these questions, I think sampled about 170 undergraduate students who are enrolled in hospitality, tourism, and hospitality, tourism management programs in a large university in China. I think there were about, at that time during data collection, there were about 50 participants or students who signed up for an internship. So in this particular study, students had the choice during that semester to sign up or not. And at that point, only about 50 students signed up for the internship program. And they have to work in a 5-star hotel for like 2 months. And they were involved in different facets of the hotel management program. Like they were in the front desk, for example. They were involved in housekeeping services, food and beverage service. And all the remaining participants were still students at the program, but at that time they did not sign up for the internship. And the way we did this is because we want to see how internship supports the growth of the career adaptability dimensions, how it builds career adaptability. So we surveyed the participants at 5 measurement periods. So we surveyed the participants 2 months before the start of the internship, just to have a feel of like their levels of career adaptability. And then we surveyed them, I think, 2 weeks before the internship participation or the start of the internship. And then during the internship, there were constraints, logistical constraints in the data collection. So we were not able to collect data about their career adaptability during the internship. But then we were able to collect data on their internship on their internship experience and career adaptability development 1 week after the internship program, 2 months after the internship program, and 5 months after the internship program. So it's like 5 measurement study, pre-test and delayed post-test of how internship helped them develop their career adaptability. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's just so impressive to me to see you being able to collect the 5 waves of the data and do such a cool study. And I just want to ask, what did you find? Like whether or not the career adaptability like actually grow across time?
Yeah, so well, what's interesting is that at the beginning, at the start, both participants in the intern group, those who participated in the internship program, and those who did not participate in the internship program had the same levels of career adaptability. So nothing, it's like there's no significant difference between their levels of career adaptability. However, after the internship participation, we found that for interns, there was a growth in career adaptability for all the dimensions, basically, for concern, control, curiosity, and confidence across time. So internship, we found, was help develop or build career adaptability for interns. However, I think for the non-interns, I think what increased at that time was career curiosity, but not all the dimensions of career adaptability. And we actually have a qualitative data on this as well, like just to inquire what happened, like in the process, just to get a feel or a qualitative understanding of what developed and what did not develop and what happened like in their current life at that time. So we found that there was a significant increase in curiosity, I think, for non-interns, because at that time they were doing their thesis and they were worried about how what the work life is like, because they didn't have any sort of exposure into the world of work. So there was a spike in curiosity. And also we found, like, relating to the personality factor, we found that conscientiousness did not really moderate or did not increase the development of career adaptability for interns. So in other words, conscientiousness did not really account for the increase or decrease in career adaptability. However, what's interesting to point out is that for highly conscientious interns, they have like higher levels of curiosity than highly conscientious non-interns. So maybe that's why they signed up for the internship program, because they're already curious to begin with. And it's also interesting to point that highly conscientious non-interns had higher levels of career confidence than highly conscientious interns. So what does that mean? So maybe they're already very confident in the world of work or how work is going to be like. That's why they didn't even bother signing up for the internship. Yeah, so those are the things we found. So basically, to summarize it all, internship promotes growth in the development of career adaptability resources over time. And that while we did not find any moderating effects for the role of conscientiousness, we found differences in the development of certain Cs or of certain resources within the career adaptability domain. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for the explanation.
Thank you.
Really helpful. And I think it's great to hear that career adaptability went through a continuous growth.
Yeah,
I just want to follow up a question about the speed of the development. Is that something like is that something went slower or faster in terms of the growth?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the question. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wonder the speed of the development, like whether some dimensions went faster or some dimensions went slower. Is there any findings in terms of that?
Well, actually, what we found is that the development of all these career adaptability resources were all in harmony. Like nothing was really ever, the growth was not really faster or slower for some other resources. But given that these individuals are in the school to work transition phase, the concern is much higher, is much greater, because they are at that point where they kind of don't know what they're going to be doing, where they're going to be going, for example. And we also found that confidence might tend to be lower, for example, because as when I remember, I'm sure like when we were undergrads, there's a lot of anxiety involved in the process of looking for work. But what we found is that internship kind of helps increase that confidence, or that ability, or that curiosity and ability to kind of navigate the work situation. But I think in the career adaptability literature, in some cases, or in some events or challenges, for example, some resources, career adaptability resources, would be stronger than the others, or would be more salient than the other resources. So for example, if you're in the job market, maybe concern will be much greater at this point. Or if you're already settling in your career, maybe I don't know, curiosity or control might be more salient at that point. So I think that's an area that we can further explore, but that's what I'm seeing just based on the trends of our findings as well as of other people's findings.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
As I'm speaking, every time I have some echo there, right, in my background, or
there is, but with me it's like manageable. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
all right. So I have another question about the conscientiousness. So although you guys did not identify some statistically significant role of this personality trait, so I just wondering, do you have any thoughts of other possible personality traits that may play a role in this kind of link?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I was a bit gutted that conscientiousness did not play a role in that part. But outside of the big five, so definitely other important characteristics would be agreeableness, for example, or our openness to experience might be an important, interesting personality characteristic that might play a role. Like some people, for example, or maybe conscientious people might just be like on the dot. They just want to follow through on what they've planned to do. But career is very unpredictable, especially now. And I think at this time, all the more that we have to be open to different possibilities, to be open to different opportunities and see where it takes us. So I wonder whether openness to experience, to various types of experience, could help support the development of career adaptability over time. And definitely self-efficacy, for example, our ability to set plans and to follow through might also play a role in that. Yeah.
Yeah, and also when I read your study, I just feel like it's really important to consider both the contextual factors and internal factors, so which may interplay with each other to achieve an outcome for individuals.
Yeah, that's right. After all, career adaptability is developed not only through our personal characteristics, or what we've experienced, or what we think or want for ourselves, but it involves a harmonious interplay between our environment, the needs of our environment, and our personal needs as well. So I think career is more dynamic, or career adaptability, if I may say, is more dynamic because it involves constant revision of our career plans, and like revision of our career challenges as well, taking that into account and like figuring out how to address these things. Yeah.
Right. I think this leads to my next question perfectly. I just want to talk about the implications of your study. So, what would you suggest people to apply career adaptability into their work or research?
Yeah, actually, career adaptability is a very ripe topic right now, especially in management, and especially given what's going on with the world right now. Like more than ever, all the more that we have to be adaptable because I feel like given what's happening right now, I feel like the world is in a startup mode. You know, we are kind of figuring out how to do things, and somehow we just have to rely on, you know, how the world is changing in front of us and our ability to understand it and to formulate the next steps to navigate it. But at the same time, we also have to rely on the resources that we've already built for ourselves, like as a means to proceed or to deal with a situation. So I think I think career adaptability will all the more be relevant in today's environment. Like what kind of skills or what kind of abilities are needed to thrive and to remain relevant in this work environment, and beyond like being able to perform the necessary jobs available, who are the people that are kind of likely to thrive and to preserve that level of well-being that will allow us to be satisfied with our jobs, to be happy with our careers as well, and to be successful in our work. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think I would capitalize on what the current situation offers us or like takes us to, and apply career adaptability. So we can look at students, for instance, we can look at individuals at various stages of their careers. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, so in your paper, I think you focus on internship participation. I just wondering if you consider other factors of internship, like the quality of the program intervention. So like for people who design and implement or in that process of internship program, design the implication process, working with students and interns, what are some suggestions for them?
Yeah, so I think that question kind of touches on the limitations of our work because we never really look at the quality of the internship experience and how students kind of evaluate the quality of their internship experience, because I'm very sure it would vary from one student or to the other. But I think what's another interesting and like tapping on that, I think another interesting thing is to look at the role of internship supervisors in the quality of the internship experience. I remember the students here in our sample, they have an internship supervisor within the university, and they have also an on-site internship supervisor. And the idea is that the internship supervisor within the university and the on-site internship supervisor will provide support, help, guidance, for example, for the students to actually optimize the internship experience. So if they have questions about what they're doing, if they experience some sort of problems, or if there are things that they need to clarify, they can either ideally go to their university intern supervisor and their on-site internship supervisor, just for us or for them to better like marry the like work, which is the internship, and the university, for example, principles, and like just join them together and formulate their understanding of careers. But I think that's one thing that they can look at, the role of these support systems and structures within the internship program to see how the quality of the internship experience would predict career adaptability development. Yeah. And other things would be, I think, the task that they're doing. Some tasks they might find boring or unnecessary, or that they already know. Other tasks are harder compared to others. So I want to see how that variation in the task assigned to them would impact their experience of internship, and how that impacts the development of their career adaptability. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that great advice. And I'm just wondering, what are your next steps to extend this study?
Yeah, to extend the study, well, I think a lot can be done, given what I talked about. But I would want to see. I would, if I have the necessary funding and logistically, if I can extend this, I want to see, to do another follow up on the interns and non-interns, how internship really kind of help individuals who participated in the internship program and who chose not to participate in the internship program at that time. How does that impact their career success, for example? How does that impact their career satisfaction? Who persisted or who stayed in that particular career in hospitality and in the hotel industry, given their internship experience. So it would be interesting for me to do, a follow up a year later or 2 years later to see how internship really impacted their career adaptability development and their eventual career success in the long term. Yeah.
Right. I just want to go back to the start of this conversation about the internship program itself. So the sample you're working with, when they do internship, how long are their internships? Is that a like short period or longer period? Like there are just so many different forms of internships.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think for this one, we looked at participants who did like a 2-month internship, full-time internship program in a hotel in China. So I think they're working 5 to 8 hours a day for 2 months at different assets of the hotel management work available. Yeah.
Right. And like for me, my personal interest, I would like to see like students in other majors, like beyond the hospitality, in other majors, how things look like, and also look at different like internship durations. I know there's something called micro internships on the market. Some students are attending that for some results. So I just want to see a more variety of this research based on your ideas, which might be interesting.
Yeah, that's true. Like some fields would require like a year of internship, for example. Some there are different paths or different types of internship, and definitely the type of internship would really help or like explain the variation maybe in career adaptability development. So however, for this particular study, we focused on hotel and restaurant management students, primarily because internship is so rampant in this particular industry. I think it's the program in itself, you really have to have some sort of internship experience for you to get a job later on. So I think as a first step, what we did was to focus on them first. And then, as what I've mentioned a while ago, I would be so interested to see how internship kind of shape their career, their work values, for example, or their career values and their eventual career success. Yeah, and like in other industries as well, where internship is quite or pretty big. Yeah, I would love to see that, really. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I wonder, like in addition to career adaptability, what do you think needs to be studied in the world of internship, or what are some of your other interests?
I want to see how internship, I think really personally, like personally, and given my knowledge on the topic, I would be deeply interested to see how internship and the opportunities it offers. It provides a rich avenue for career sense making and career decision making. I would want to see how internship influence career sense making and career decision making. Like how does this experience allow us to kind of develop our understanding of ourselves in relation to our career and in relation to our work. And I would want to examine really, or to see how internship experience impacts a person's work ethic, for instance, understanding of expectations at work, for example, what we shouldn't be doing, what we should be doing, for instance, and also our responsibilities as individuals or as workers. So I want to see how, or I think an interesting research area that intern scholars like you could look at is how internship builds the working person, how this individual approaches, work issues or challenges later on. I think also at the macro level, I would want to see how HR practitioners, for example, view individuals without any sort of internship experience. What can be done, like at the practical level, what can be done to increase the value of internship opportunities, for example, for the individual and for the work itself. Yeah.
That's great. And I just have one more question before we go to the QA session. So for our audience, if you have any questions, feel free to post that in chat box. So my last question is, how do you think the pandemic has affected internships? So I know in the US, a lot of internships position has been freezed or canceled, and students, like for those who are taking internship in the summer, some of them reported like lost the social part of their internship. So I just wonder, like in your country or like in general in this world, based on your knowledge, what's the current situation or internship availabilities look like in your country, or what is your understanding of this kind of effect of pandemic?
That's a very interesting, and I think that's a very important question because, I feel like the pandemic has impacted directly or indirectly several aspects of our lives, especially at work. In the blink of an eye, a lot has changed in terms of work because of the pandemic, and it's changed how we work, how we find work, and how we form and sustain relationships with others, given what's happening. But I'd like to highlight that this particular, pandemic would delay and impede job search strategies of individuals in school to work transition contexts. Like, I know, as what you said, given what's happening, all the internship positions are not available right now. So this would mean that it will hamper the development of career competencies for a lot of young people. This will also hamper their ability to look for jobs that might be suitable for them or that they might want to have, like pre-pandemic times. So if anything, this will delay or impede or postpone several job search strategies and postpone the development of certain career competencies. But on the other hand, if individuals could find, some work, or if there are available work, or if there are just really available opportunities for them to kind of build their career, build their career competency, then that would be good. So maybe what they can do from home is to increase their ability to look for jobs virtually and to increase their ability to thrive in the current labor market, like their ability to conduct work remotely might be a skill now and later on. Their ability to produce high quality work, even with being away from a physical office or a physical space, would develop as well. And also like tapping on to my research, we focused on individuals or on students in the hotel industry, and we know that this industry is kind of struggling right now. So I am also curious to see how young people in school to work transition contexts in this field will navigate the situation. But on the upside, I think that within my country, like Philippines, Australia, and even the US, we see that internship is also a big thing in the medical field. I think a lot of medical interns intern for like several months to a year or even years. So I would be interested to see how medical students or medical interns like try to marry what's happening, their current experience right now, because and their perceptions of career and work. I know that the healthcare system is like is working at full capacity, and like given what's happening, I don't know how this will shape the experience of medical interns right now, especially those in the front line. So this might also be an interesting thing to look at later on, whether this might stress them, the long-term impact of that, the short-term impact of that, and overall how, because we're still in the process of change. I don't know how institutions, workplaces would view the importance or relevance of internship, but I'd like to think that internship in any way is always beneficial for the person. Any form of experience is beneficial. Well, ideally it's guided, it's supported, and that individuals are given that reflective, space to process what's happened, to understand what's happened, and to like plan what could happen. I think that's the most important benefit of internship, and I think that's what we need to focus on, like practically and theoretically, now and in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally hear you. There are so many things we could do as an individual, as an intern, and as supervisors and institution educators. Yeah, and to make this better and to deliver a better experiences for our interns, because it's a beneficial experience, right?
Right. And I think the success of an internship program does not rely just on the structures we build around the internship experience. Like we could impose so many rules, and tasks for the students to complete. But at the end of the day, we have to look at several people working together to provide a good experience for the person. As I've said a while ago, we have to look at the characteristics of the intern, the help given by the supervisor within the internship like program or institute, and within the university, because their help would really enable the students to process their experience better. And also, as I've said, the structure available within the internship. Actually, if I think about my life, for example, I've had 2 weeks internship experience, and all these structures or institutions or individuals kind of work together to allow me to have a very good experience. But I think that my experience during my internship would still kind of help me think about things later on. There are still moments where I refer to that experience, like in dealing with situations I'm not familiar with, in doing things, for example, or even in my expectations with other people. Yeah.
That's true. All right, so I think we have really a rich conversation using the 45 minutes. So let's go to the chat box to see what kind of questions we got.
Yeah, so, I think there's
someone asked for the second C. So Helen, thank you so much for responding. Career control, 4C, which is confidence. Thank you. And also there is a question from Zhixuan Wu. So you focus your research on China. How would you say the findings capability to other countries? In other words, do you find differences between the population of the study and other groups of students in other countries in terms of career adaptability?
Yeah, so I think several studies have documented whether career adaptability is a construct that applies to people from, all from like whether it extends to different contexts and cultures. And I think several studies like the paper of Tolentino et al. Have tested that indeed career adaptability is like applicable or is relevant in the Chinese sample, in Filipino sample, in the American sample, for instance. And several European scholars are also looking at career adaptability in like European students, and we were able to replicate the findings that indeed whatever nationality or culture you're involved in right now or you're part of, the 4Cs actually matter in our construction of careers and in our ability to adapt to the changing work environment. Yeah. But I think I would be curious to see whether internship, I think the question should be like, how does internship impact individuals or how does that impact individuals from all these countries? And I would be interested to see the results of that empirically, but theoretically, I am confident that the internship experience will build career adaptability resources. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know like the career adaptability is a construct that has been studied over 13 countries. There was a really famous paper that like test the psychometric aspects of this scale in 13 countries. But I think, yeah, I totally agree. I would love to see the intervention empirical studies on like the pre and post and experiment and control like effect of how that changed and why it's changed.
Yeah, that's right. Or maybe like if we can do cross-country comparisons, for instance, will internship benefit certain individuals from certain places more than individuals from other, similar profiles or dissimilar profiles, or maybe like just the field itself, the occupation itself, as I mentioned to you, like will a business student benefit more from an internship compared to, let's say, a medical student or to someone in other fields? So I think I would be really curious to see that. And yeah.
Right. All right, so there's a question from Jia Hong. So in your paper, the findings show that students with high conscientiousness will turn out to have better career adaptability no matter whether they take an internship or not. So do you have any suggestions about how to promote students' conscientiousness level?
Yeah, well, I think conscientiousness is a very big topic in psychology. And, they say like of all the personality traits, conscientiousness is really the one that matters in our success at work, in school, and even in our marriages. They say that if you have a conscientious partner, that's it, you've won the lottery. Well, I think personality, as we know it, is a product of all like sources, like from our parents, from our environment, for example. But a way to build that is at the very start, I think, of life. We have to develop structures that will allow the individual to be more planful, or to facilitate, to help individuals to be more dutiful. Like maybe there are tasks involved that will just encourage individuals to build conscientiousness, if we can say that, or to impose like activities, or just to really encourage the person to organically to get involved in activities that will encourage conscientiousness. But I think a lot of it comes with, are you really interested in what you're doing? I think at the practical level, I mean, we can't go back to our childhood and just, oh, I wish I built this. But like at the practical level, We have to start with, do we really want the work we're part of? Because I think if you're interested in it, everything will just blend together and it will just come together. Yeah. What is this? Another question would be like, are there any other positive traits that would benefit students' career adaptability? Yeah. So we've seen like the role of efficacy, for example, but I think I'd like to touch on some contextual experiences and also personality experiences. What is consistent is that support is a very important predictor or like buffer of career adaptability development. When you're facing a very difficult challenge, for example, at work, we always have to rely on the individuals we trust the most. And that will involve, let's say, our supervisors, our partners, our family members, for instance, as the primary precursors or like individuals that will support a person develop career adaptability. In fact, in one of our studies published a couple of years ago, we looked at what builds career adaptability or what would help enable for individuals to express career adaptability. So we looked at an intergeneration study of career adaptability where we measured grandparents' level of career adaptability, the parents' level of career adaptability, and the child's career adaptability through these three generations. And we found that, again, highly career adaptable grandparents tend to have highly career adaptable children and grandchildren. Why is that so? Because it's about role modeling. What we learn from our parents, we kind of copy these behaviors and like mindset, for instance, and our parents just really copied it from their own parents. So the importance of role modeling is important in the development of career adaptability. I think the presence of any support structures, for example, will also build that. And some social contexts or institutions, like as I've said, internship would be a good background to allow the individual to just really try out certain careers, figure out what's working for them or not. And yeah, so these traits, for example, modeling, efficacy, learning of other people's career behaviors and career thinking would really help develop career adaptability. Yeah.
Yeah. The study you just mentioned about the three generations are so cool.
Yeah.
I myself would love to be researched, to be part of that subject.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the preliminary findings that we have. So from grandparents to parents and to children, and I think a lot of it really is just it. There was no explicit, okay, you have to do this and that. It's more of seeing how they do it, like routinely and consistently over time. And because the way we approach our work problems or work situations, we kind of always default to what we know. And the way, like, for example, our parents doing all sorts of work, or grandparents doing all sorts of work, for instance, would really matter or would really help us navigate the work situation. Yeah.
All right, so I see a reminder from Amy. So I guess we came to the end of our 1 hour together. So which has been a great conversation. Corey, I just want to thank you so much for taking time with us, especially so early in the morning. It should be close to 7 o'clock right now, and I see your window getting like brighter. Yeah, and yeah, it's really fun conversation. And also to our audience, thank you very much for participating and asking questions. And our next webinar will be on August 26th, if I'm not wrong, with our special guest, Julia from University of Nevada and Crystal from American Indian College Fund. And they will be talking about internship opportunities in community and tribal colleges. And I think Amy put the links there in the chat box. So Yeah, thank you so much, guys. And thank you, Carell. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for inviting me, and I wish I could see you all in person. But like, thank you for your questions. If you have any other questions about the paper or about anything in this particular research area, please feel free to email me, and I would be very much happy to respond to your email or to talk to you via Zoom or Skype. Just let me know. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Bye,
Thank you
guys.
so much. Bye. Bye. Bye.